What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of For the Love of Wrestling. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams. How is everybody doing tonight? Good to see everybody filing in here for the evening. I apologize for my tardiness. Pretty good episode of Impact this evening. We're going to get into it here in just a second. All right, so the show began with Alicia Edwards coming to the ring. She says that what happened at Victory Road is a travesty. The fact that she is no longer a champion in TNA. She says that if it wasn't for Masha Slamovich, she would still be champion. This brings Masha out to the ring. Masha says she is sick of hearing Alicia's voice and sick of her in general. Tasha Steelz then attacks Masha from behind while Alicia uses Kendra the kendo stick on Slamovich. This then brings out the juggernaut Jordan Grace to try and even the odds, but then the system come out in order to regain the numbers advantage. This brings out the Hardys to even up the teams and make the save. Santina Marella then comes out and makes an intergender 6-person tag team match for the main event. It's going to be Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards of the System teaming with Tasha Steelz to take on the Hardy Boys and Masha Slamovich. At this point, Ariana Grace, the liaison of NXT comes out and says that next week the Juggernaut will team with one of Grace's best friends from NXT in order to take on Rosemary and Wendy Chu and hopefully end that whole thing once and for all. We then see Eric Young with Josh Alexander, and EY says that they look at business from the same way. It's about respect. And he warns Alexander that where he's heading, it's hard to come back from. Tells Alexander that he needs to think about what he's doing, that he's a leader in TNA, and he needs to take that position seriously. Will he? We'll find out in due time. Backstage, Jordan Grace stops Masha Slamovich backstage and says that she's been holding these open challenges, hoping that Masha would answer one, and that maybe now that she's free of Alicia Edwards, she will. Masha says that they'll be seeing each other pretty soon, but first, she has something she needs to take care of. Masha proceeds to knock on the Hardy Boys' dressing room door, and she thanks them for having her and Jordan Grace's back out there. She says that she never thought that the Hardys would ever save her, and as a girl growing up in Russia, and she shows a photo of her with Matt from when she was a lot younger. Matt says that's the beauty of the business, the beauty of TNA. Dreams can come true here. He mentions about teaming with Michael P.S. Hayes, someone that they looked up to and idolized. Thought that they would never wrestle Ric Flair, but they did. Matt says they need Masha to be focused for their match tonight, and then tells the Juggernaut that she needs to be prepared for her match next week, especially since she doesn't know who she's teaming with. Matt says that they then need to show everyone why TNA is white hot right now. And I can't agree with Matt more. TNA is hotter than they've been in years. We have tag team action for our opening contest as First Class, AJ Francis and Casey Navarro take on Sinner and Saint. I feel like this match went on longer than necessary. First Class got the victory over Sinner and Saint. Not a huge surprise. I don't see Sinner and Saint on my TV that often, so why would I think they're going to win? We then have a Santana promo Says he's been digging himself out of a hole his whole life. Says that tonight we'll find out if JDC is willing to walk through the fire because he's going to baptize him in his own blood. Texas Death Match still to come. Speedball Mike Bailey promo, and Mean Gia asks him how it feels to be champion again. Talks about how the X division is the most competitive division. Says his match teaming with Leon Slater and Kushida to take on Zachary Wentz in the ABC next week will be a match that no one will soon forget. We then have a backstage promo with Steph DeLander and PCO. Steph says that she knows PCO wants to get his hands on Cardona, but not just yet. We then go to the ring, and it's Matt Cardona versus Rhino. Short match that ends in a DQ. PCO then comes out, gets some revenge on Cardona. After that, we get a Knockouts Tag Team Championship match as the team of Spitfire, Danny Luna and Jody Threat, take on Carly Bright and Kendall Gray from NXT. Hell of a tag team match. Carly Bright and Kendall Gray really had a hell of a showing, got an opportunity to display their abilities. I'm glad they got a bit of TV time here, as NXT seems to be kind of full in the women's division right now, and I don't watch Level Up. I always forget to. Champs retained, no surprise here, but hopefully we'll see more of Kendall and Carly in the future. We then get Dimeless Dana Brooke backstage, and Heather Reckless wants to take Ash by Elegance and her personal concierge up on their offer for a makeover. They tell her that they're busy. She then asks if they'll watch her take on Zaya Brookside next week, and they say they'll call her and let her know. So it's like 1 week they're trying to get her to join them, and the next week they're blowing her off. Not really sure what's going on here. We'll see in the coming weeks. We then kick off the second hour with the Texas Death Match, JDC versus Santana. This was just some kick-ass brutality. Much better than Swerve versus Hangman in my own personal opinion. Maybe it's the fact that they didn't drink each other's blood. Santana got the victory when JDC can't answer the 10 count after he hits the Born Nasty off the ladder. Post-match, Moose comes out, beats the hell out of Santana with the steel chair. What's going to happen with these two? Bound for Glory is coming up. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. We then go backstage with Sinner and Saint, and Josh Alexander approaches them, tells them they have a ton of potential. Anybody can see that, and if you ever need help, reach out to him. Maybe he's going to start taking this leadership thing seriously. We get a Li Ying Lee video package ahead of her debut next week. This is going to be the former Xia Li from WWE, and I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do with her. Next up, do you believe? I believe in Joe Hendry. Hendry comes out and he starts talking about what an amazing year it's been for him. Says he made a statement when he defeated Josh Alexander at Victory Road. Says that when he came into the company, he had a goal to win the world championship. Says there's a lot of people who don't want Joe to be successful. Says no matter who tried to keep him down, the fans lift him up. This brings out the king of TNA, Frankie Kazarian. Kaz calls Hendry a one-hit wonder and says that he is sick of him. Says that he sounds like a cross between Shrek and groundskeeper Willie. Says that he deserves a title shot more than Joe Hendry does. Kaz goes on to say that if Nick Nemeth is any type of man, he'll get into his ring and grant him a title shot. Nemeth comes out and Kaz tells him he knows all of Nemeth's strengths and weaknesses. Nick then proceeds to tell him up and turns his attention to Joe Hendry. He congratulates him on a good job and tells him he has an eye on him. He then goes back to Kaz, holds the championship up, and says that this is as close as he will ever get to the title. This brings out Santino Marella once again. He says that next week it'll be Kaz versus Hendry one-on-one, and the winner will face Nick Nemeth for the championship at Bound for Glory. Main event 6-person tag match: Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and Tasha Steelz versus the Hardys and Masha Slamovich. Fantastic main event. Alicia Edwards attempted to get involved but got ejected from the ringside area. When she refused to leave, the ABC came out, grabbed her under the arms, and carried her back to the backstage area. Masha and the Hardys got the victory after the Twist of Fate Swanton Bomb combination. All in all, this was a hell of an episode of Impact. Let me see what we got in the comments here. Matt here. Good to see you tonight, sir. Daniel saying the face paint on Jeff looked like he paid tribute to Bray Wyatt's The Fiend. I saw a couple other people saying that too, Daniel. You might be onto something. DJ Mutkeen in the house. What's going on, good sir? Good to see you as well. But yeah, all in all, tonight's episode of TNA was stellar. Right on par with NXT for this week. Honestly, I feel like NXT and TNA are the best shows every week consistently. Raw has a good show here and there. SmackDown has a good show here and there. Dynamite has a good show here and there. NXT and TNA are solid each and every week. A lot of it has to do with the crossover talent. Looking forward to see what gets built for Bound for Glory, if there will be any NXT competitors as part of that. Looking to see what happens as we build towards the premiere on the CW, as well as Halloween Havoc for NXT, and see if there's any TNA competitors on that. We already know Zachary Wentz versus Wesley in a street fight will be on the premiere of NXT. Wendy Chu and Rosemary milling around. Don't know if they're going to be doing anything. Will Jordan Grace have another open challenge? Who knows? But if you guys are sleeping on NXT and TNA, you need to wake the fuck up. Period. I'm going to give this show an A- for the week. What did you guys think about tonight's episode of TNA Impact? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comment box. I look forward to reading your guys' thoughts and opinions. And until tomorrow, I should be here to discuss SmackDown. Hopefully, knock on wood. So until tomorrow, when I'm here to discuss Friday Night SmackDown, I am the Renegade JJ Williams. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys next time.